Hey, welcome back to the channel, and today is Monday, so we're going to do something a little bit different. Um, what I want to do is something a little bit outside of the normal puzzly type things that we do. I don't know if you've ever heard of this or seen of these. I'm sure you probably have at some point, but I'd like to do Chronophoto and TimeGuessr. Those are the two I have set up for this one. Essentially, what um, they're puzzles in which you have to do to either locate the date, not like a specific date, but the year that a photo was taken. And I think that's Chronophoto, and then on TimeGuessr, not only are you trying to locate the actual year that that photo was taken, but also where in the world it was taken. So we're gonna do the dailies for both of them. So that's July 15th, 2024. If you guys want to play this before I get into it, just go into links below and you can give it a go and see how you do. So let's get into them. Daily 4. Okay. I have to decrease size a little bit here so I can get all this onto the screen. That looks pretty good. Well, this is clearly during Nazi times, since there's such a flag in the background. So this is somewhere between. This is probably between World War I and World War II. Would be my guess. So I'd say sometime in the 30s, most likely. It seems like it's kind of a delegation of possibly Japanese and Germans, and maybe some other countries are involved in this one. Since there's no color, this looks like a German style flag, but the colors are not on, so it's hard to see it. But let's go with let's do 37. 37 seems like a reasonable date. So let's see if what we got. It was 34, so a little bit earlier. Okay. I need to be able to get to this button. Next round. Reduce this a little bit more. Okay, so now this looks very similar in time frame, although I couldn't quite tell you what this is. Trying to lean in a little bit, see if I can get an idea. I can't distinguish any of these, if any of these flags in the background actually are of a specific country, or if they're just nondescript. Well, this is some sort of political rally, perhaps, with military involved. I would say it almost looks kind of Canadian or some sort of British influenced. Well, this is going to be a good one because I don't really know. I'm going to say it's probably still somewhere in that same region of 30s, 40s. Due to the outfits, it doesn't seem to be so far back. So I'm going to go back into the 30s. I'm going to say this is 31. Let's see where that gets us. It was 27, so it was a little bit earlier. So not bad, not bad. Man, I'm having to mess with this. I thought I had this set up pretty well, but apparently not. Okay, now we're getting earlier. This is definitely back towards like Victorian times. It almost looks like, or that's not quite that far back, but maybe the 10s, maybe the early 20s, perhaps. What would be a good guess here? Because clearly this is well before, you know, any type of amount of skin was shown with women. Thinking, I really think this feels like it's right kind of between 1915 and 1920-ish. I'm going to say 1918 and hope I'm not a little too early maybe, but we'll give it a go, see what it is. 1905, wow, it's a lot earlier. Well, that was a terrible guess on my part. Let's get the next one. And, oh, here we go, finally loading. Again, this is an older photo. There might have been a little bit wider range here, but it doesn't look like we're getting them today. So, bicycle race, maybe in the 30s, maybe even slightly earlier. Trying to look in the background to see how these people are dressed that are spectating, but not getting a ton of information there. This doesn't look like it's a wartime type of situation to be able to put it into, you know, a general time frame that way. I'm gonna have to go back into the 30s, I think. Give another chance at 32. But I really don't know. This could be anywhere up into like the 40s or 50s, or it could even be earlier than that, to be honest. I mean, the bikes don't look super old, do they? That might change my mind. I might want to bump it up. Just on the bikes, because it looks fairly modern styling of a bike. With the types of spokes, with the handlebars the way they are. So maybe this is more like in the 50s. Let's give that a try. Let's try 55 and see how terribly off we are. It was 1950, so it wasn't bad. I was off by 5 years. That was better. Good thing I changed it. And we've got one more. If it loads. Again, we're going back to the olden days here. A little less conservative in terms of clothing. Trying to see if I can figure out any type of idea what city this is. It looks like an elevated train. So you see it's up above the street, which could mean, you know, New York, Chicago, something like that. I don't know how popular elevated trains are in other areas. I can't think of any off the top of my head in European nations, but I'm not European, so I don't really quite have that much experience over there. I'm going to say this is America, though. In either Chicago or New York, although neither one of those really matters. It's just about their clothing. Now, this is looking 50s maybe to me. Again, going in that kind of time frame. Now, do I want to be boring and go back to 55? No, I think I'll change it up. I'll go to 56, and that's going to be my guess. I'm not quite sure. It looks like it could be about that time frame. It was in 42. Wow, it was even earlier than I thought it might be. So, those were my guesses. Not great, not bad. This one helped with the Nazi insignia there. You can actually get an idea of time frames. This one, I couldn't see anything in this one that had any kind of, I mean, it looked Canadianish to me or something along those lines, but then again, we're in black and white, so it could theoretically be from 1900 all the way into the 1950s on any of these things. This one I probably should have gotten a bit older in terms of because of how they're dressed on a beach. But anyway, that one wasn't too far off. That one, a little further off than I should. So I got a total of 2476. That's not terrible. Anyway, let's jump over to TimeGuessr and see how we do on that one, because that's going to do exactly what we just did essentially, but add in trying to figure out where in the world it is. So let's do the daily. And well, I think we know what this is. It just freaking happened. So it is 2024. It was in Ohio, I believe, but I don't know where in Ohio it was. I don't tend to pay attention to the faffing about of our politicians who are, well, I'm not even going to get into it. So I'm going to say it's going to be in some fairly large city. So we'll go with, I guess, Cleveland. Seems like a decent guess. Let's try that and what happens. So it was in the location of Cleveland, yeah. So, and we got obviously 5,000 for the so let me get this over a little bit more. So the way it's set up, it's hard to get this so you can see what's going on. Let me drag myself over here for a second though. Now again, we're going back in time. There's not a ton of information here that I can see, and this is probably going to make me look really stupid because I'm going to guess some random place, and it's not going to be anywhere near. Looks like there's a collection of white and black people. Can't see anything otherwise. Peering in to see if I can see anything. I don't see any flags. This doesn't look all that American, but it very well could be. The vehicles all kind of seem like they're more up in Scandinavia, that kind of region, Volkswagens, etc., etc. We Saabs in here. Once again, I'm not a big car person, so I'm gonna say this is probably sometime in the 50s, would be my guess. Possibly early 60s. Let's do 59. Try to find some better. You still can't really see this because the way this game seems to be set up, they're not. Oh, I can pull it in. Hold on. Let me do that. That's better. Okay, you can see this a little bit better now. Good. I'm going to say it's up here somewhere. I'll probably go with Stockholm just because it's a fairly large city. And let's see how terrible my guess is. Ooh, I was way off. I was in Yugoslavia? Wow. I would have never guessed that. The year, I was 13 years off. This was the 70s as well. Wow. And still black and white pictures. And, well, I guess I could have looked at the cars a little harder and said it was probably later than the 50s or 60s. I think the bug's been around for quite since the 60s, right? But some of these other cars, I guess, are a little bit more boxy. Maybe I'll make reference to that next time I'm looking at cars. But there was not a chance in holy heck that I would have ever guessed this was in Yugoslavia or anywhere near Yugoslavia. It had a European feel to it, but that's about all I could get. So next round. Okay, this looks very American. Just because of the style of the bar doesn't mean it is. There's lots of places that have the same sort of look and feel to them. But there are, well, there's only like one plate on here and I can't read what it says. That doesn't help me. I mean, this could easily be like Australia or something like that as well. Sorry, I'm getting real close. I'm just trying to see some things if I can. Life members up in here. I'm trying to read this. Something Creek. Can't read the rest of it. Life members. Well, I guarantee you this one's going to be an embarrassment to me. Now, this looks like it's fairly recent. Like it would be... Yeah, this isn't really looking American now that I look at some of these signs in here, but still I have no clue what they are. So, but it could very well be like, you know, Portland, Oregon or something like that, where you can see all this kind of stuff going on. Back off. Development company. It's too small for me to read it. So I'm not going to be able to really... Oh, I can zoom in. I didn't know I could zoom in. Well, that helps, I guess. Let's see if we can find some information then. The local news in... I'm not trying to look at this guy's leg, I promise. Something Club. No, I don't want you open. Marco Polo Ricin. Grove Tours. Football Club, which makes it's highly unlikely this is American. This looks like a European style football logo. Can't see if that says dollars or pounds or something else. That would be quite helpful if it did. It's these like camels. They look like camel stuffed animals, don't they? This is a government license plate of some place. That's what it just says government, but I can't read what these say. The two letters above, which probably would have been much more helpful than government. Now I can look at this. William Creek Gymkhana Life members. Gymkhana. That's weird. This doesn't look like none of this stuff looks Australian in terms of the types of beverages that are up here. So I really have no freaking clue what any of this is. I mean, they're very white. Maybe back up in the Scandinavian areas. I mean, these couple of girls look like they might be. Nothing's in focus enough. Well, we know it's 2 o'clock at least. Or I should say it's almost 2 o'clock. These look like... It's so hard to read it. They're just blurry enough. They look like dollar signs, though. But that's unlikely. Fish and chips. Seafood basket. Don't know what any of the other ones say. The eagle has landed. This is a tough one. I really have no idea. There's a lot of things that seem to be saying different things. Like what is on her pack? Nothing. It's just a earth with camels. So it seems like this is very camel-centric. Could this be like South Africa? South Africa have camels? I don't know that they would. Australia has camels, I believe. Oh, this is real tough. There wouldn't be any camels up in the Scandinavian regions, obviously. I think I have to just go for Australia on this and say it's probably pretty recent. I mean, these, I'll call them kids, they're a lot younger than I am. You know, like a hippie-ish culture almost looking. Can't tell if this phone is something recent. This guy doesn't seem to have a phone out. He's got Victoria Bitter. Finlandia pulp. Possible this could be Finland? Or is that just some brand? I am so confused. I don't know what the heck this is. I mean, Victoria bitter would be very demonstrative to be some sort of British colony, or was a British colony at some point. They look, the people look either like they could be, you know, Scandinavian or even Australian or something like that. But the camels is really throwing me off. So we're going to say this is fairly recent. Let's just get into it and make a guess, because I don't think I'm getting anywhere. Probably wouldn't be 2020 due to the pandemic. So it'd be maybe slightly earlier or maybe later. And that I don't know. I could see this being 2015. And then we're going to have to make a guess as to where the heck this could be. See, HMS Sydney. There's so many random things that seem like this is Australia. I mean, Australia. It's got to be Australia, right? Victoria bitter would definitely go to that. So, I mean, I was leaning towards it before. Victoria is a region, so that would make complete sense. So let's just go into Melbourne, pop something down there, and see what happens. So it was even earlier, 2001. Wow. So it was in Australia. It was not in Victoria. It was in South Australia, in some small place off of a tiny airport in the middle of nowhere. Cool. So there's no chance I would have ever gotten that, but I got in the vicinity at least. It's another, not great on points wise. Year was bad, and location, because Australia's so big, not good. So, all right, let's get another one. All right, again, we've got black and white. Now I know I can zoom in. That'll help. This looks Eastern European off the bat. Hungaraton, could it be? I could definitely see this being one of the Eastern Bloc nations. Now, are they repairing? Is this all repair work being done after war, or is this just construction for the sake of construction? It's hard to tell. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of other work being going on. It just seems like this building. I could see this being Hungary or something along those lines. That would make sense to me. I could also see it being... Man, these cars, they look... Again, they look like the same kind of cars we just saw in the other place. And it was 70s-ish. That all seems to jive. So I'm gonna go back into the 70s here, say 75. We're gonna go into Hungary, because that's the only kind of guess I have. And the only reason I'm even saying that is because it says Hungaraton or something like that, which is probably nothing to do with anything, but this does look like it's Eastern European. So we'll say it's somewhat outside of Budapest, and we'll make our guess. So I was 3 years off, so my years were excellent, and my location was excellent. It was Hungary, and it was just outside of Budapest. So there we go. That was a good round. What else we got now? Okay, this is obviously more modern. A very high resolution photo here, it appears. Tabacs Gauze and Complement. Is this French or is it Italian? Or something like that. I can't see what the sign, it's probably a road sign or a district sign. But I can't quite read it. Seems like that might say Del, DL, so something Del, whatever, but that's really a guess. Are there any other signs that are... And I don't know anything about European road signs and what, or could it be like an eel or something? I don't know. No flags about. This doesn't really say much. They have cacti, which is interesting. Cacti are typically Central and Lower Northern American, i.e. Mexico and those sorts of areas. I don't know, does this look... Su Torino aquí. So it is Spanish language. The question is, are we looking... That doesn't look like it's Portuguese. At least not by my tiny bits of knowledge of the difference between Spanish and Portuguese. So that would tend to rule out Brazil. Time frame. Can we get some clothing? This looks fairly modern. What they're wearing. It does look tropical in some sense. Some of them look somewhat Latino. Some of them do not. Cannot see what they are eating or what else is going on. This seems fairly recent. Once again, it was De La. That's a Messi jersey, but that could be anywhere, right? And I honestly can't. I don't know football, so don't crucify me for this. I don't know where Messi is from. I thought he was he Argentinian, or was I thinking of Ronaldo or something like that? I don't know them, so this is if I knew where he was from or what have you, this might give me more information, but it really does not. I could see South America here. I could also see Spain. This sign just, it might not mean anything, but it just feels more European to me than it does South American. But again, I'm really stretching. Does that say de Barcelona? That may say Barcelona. That would be quite a little... I could see this being Barcelona. Like I said, I could... my options were South America and Spain. And the signage was leading me towards Europe, so... Let's say we're in Spain. Let's say we're in Barcelona, which I think is over here. Yes, it is. It doesn't matter where we pick in here. So the question is going to be, what's the time frame? Now, so this is a fairly high-res photo. We don't have any protective measures on, so we're not looking in the 2020 to 2022 range, really. So this is probably just before, again, like the other one was. But I would say this is either like now, or it's like 15 years ago would be my guess, or 10 years ago, maybe is probably a better. So I want to do 2018, I'm going to do. I'm going to say it's in Barcelona. So it was 2020, so it was, wow, it must have been quite early in 2020. If nobody's wearing any type of mask or anything like that. But I was 500 meters away from the actual location, so that garbage can was wonderful. So that was almost a perfect guess. What's my final score? 38,000 out of 50,000. Not bad. Not bad at all for me. I'm not good at geography typically, or time-based guesses. So that looks like I did okay over. I mean, I didn't have any completely off the wall guesses. I mean, this one, it was like Yugoslavia. There wasn't a chance in heck I was ever going to be able to figure that one out. So I give myself a little leeway there, but the rest of them were all pretty good. So anyway, that was Chronophoto and TimeGuessr. I hope you all enjoyed that one. Let me know in the comments below if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.